couldn't get anything going. He couldn't even find my email half the time that I sent the link in. So I'm just gonna have to set up maybe we can set up a meeting here to see if it works, and I'll set
He's
him
in the
up.
basement though, and he's got the crazy.
He was outside. Okay, I think I better start over.
Radio.net. See, I don't know what it's doing.
Okay, yeah, I can't see you again.
Can't see me at all?
I thought it hasn't asked me to join. Let me try here. Open, let's see, I'm trying. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Did you see me?
Yeah, everything looks good now.
Well, it says we're live on YouTube. So for those of you who are listening to us, we've had technical difficulties today. So we totally apologize.
Yes.
But this is, of course, what in the world?
What an appropriate name for this show today. What in the world squared?
Yeah. You know, what was happening, and I just realized it, okay?
Oh, okay.
So for all of our listeners, we do this, we record on Zoom, and we go live on YouTube. And what it kept opening was new YouTube pages. Everything I was saying was being repeated over and over again.
Yes.
But it
was like a time warp.
Right. But it took the spirit of Richard Hale in the room to get it all fixed.
Not the ghost. He's still alive.
He's still alive. He's
still alive. Yes. He didn't look too good, but he's still alive.
I think.
Is he there?
He's on the other side of the screen. So what are we talking about today, Paul? I mean,
what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about newclevelandradio.net for one thing, because here we are on the #1 podcasting network in the city of Cleveland, possibly Northeast Ohio, at least. I'm here with Karen Hale, who is the owner, producer, general manager, mop person. She does everything.
I do clean toilets.
Yes. And fortunately figures out our YouTube problems. So we're glad for that. When you come to visit us at newclevelandradio.net, don't forget to click on some of our other shows, which are really great. So yes, what are we talking about today? As always, at What in the World, I've been spanning and scanning the globe, looking for weird news stories for us. Our motto, as always, is real news, sometimes strange, always funny. So real news, sometimes strange, always funny means today I have 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 Bigfoot stories. One from California, yeah. One from California, one from Mexico, which is pretty cool, and one from Florida. So we're going to learn about all different flavors of Bigfoot today. We're going to talk about a time traveler from North Korea. We're going to talk about Elvis Presley's jockstrap, which is
I saw that one.
Yes. Oh, I have some visual aids for us. Don't let me forget. I have visual aids today. And penguins farting. So and you can get high on them. So plan your next visit to the zoo. Spend a lot of time at the penguin exhibit, and a few more funny stories as well. We'll play Bluff the co-host, and if Rich is there and if he's still awake, we'll play with him. As always, we'll play with Karen, and we'll see what else happens. This is one of those. This is a play it by ear, what in the world show, podcast, whatever you want to call it. We're not sure. We may be starting a whole new classification here, especially if everybody's hearing us repeat over and over again.
Yeah.
So let's start with the penguins first. Let's start with something easy before we get to Elvis's jockstrap. So this one comes from Antarctica, of all places. That's about as far away as you can get from Cleveland, Ohio. Researchers in Antarctica are studying these giant penguins, the king penguins. They're the biggest ones, and they're digging through the poop. Why they're digging through the poop, I don't know. Obviously, you can learn things from penguin poop. What they learned was they're getting high on the fumes of penguin poop. It apparently a natural nitrous oxide or laughing gas. So, and I quote from an interview that they gave to CNN, that while nosing around in guano, which I think would be a perfect name for an album, Nosing Around in Guano. While nosing around in guano for several hours, the researchers went completely cuckoo, which I believe is a technical term for completely cuckoo. That's what they're doing. They're getting, excuse me, they're getting high on, oh, speaking of getting high, look, there's a penguin right there. Looks like he's high on penguin poop right
Yes,
there.
he is.
So that's what they're getting high on this stuff. So so of course they have to study it, because that's what happens when you
Sure.
once you they want to so they can bottle it and sell it is what they want to do. So it turns out that it's not the poop itself or the farts for that matter. It's after they make the guano, okay, we'll use a technical term, it goes into the soil and the guano combines with the soil and converts to nitrogen, which mixes with oxygen and gets nitrous oxide.
Ooh.
You can figure that out.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little chemistry here from What in the World. And it turns into this laughing gas. And there's so many of these penguins in those fields, and they're so big, there's obviously a lot of penguin poop, that it just reacts. And the researchers go, what did I say? They go nosing about the guano and get that smell up their nose and get high. So as far as they can tell, it only works with penguin poop. So, your neighbors with the chickens, you're not going to get high off of that stuff.
No.
Tell them to get rid of it somehow. And if a pigeon splatters on your windshield, don't pull over and try to sniff it. It won't work with that either. Gotta be.
That sounds
penguin.
gross.
I know,
Sniffing
yeah,
penguin.
but I've seen people do, Cleveland drivers.
yeah.
So they're so thrilled to be out after the coronavirus lockdown. They're doing anything. So again, so that's the story of the penguin poop that you get high on.
Wow.
So yeah, go to the zoo, get ready. Willie Nelson, I heard Willie Nelson's banging on the door at the Austin Zoo.
Hey,
trying
it's
to get in so he can get
a cheap
high.
way to get high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go on the day that it's free admission. I think
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
Wednesdays or Mondays.
Yeah.
I forget what day it is in Cleveland. So now, speaking of the coronavirus, since it dominates our news, it also occasionally dips into What in the World news. And in Germany, the Burger King in Germany, I'm getting my visual aid ready here. The Burger King in Germany has set up a unique Burger King-ish way of social distancing. What they've done is, I guess for a limited time only, if you buy a couple of Whoppers, you get these giant 6-foot wide Burger King crowns, and that keeps the people next to you in line behind you and in front of you 6 feet apart. So let's see if you can see this, Karen. Let's see, how about right
Ooh.
there.
See, I
Those
got
are
that. Oh, I saw those crowns. I
Aren't
want
those
one.
things?
Those are
Aren't they
neat.
wild? They're huge. So yeah. So how come we can't have those here? It's only in Germany that they have these giant crowns. Now Taco Bell, of course, Taco Bell is constantly trying to compete with the bigger change. So they wanted to have a sombrero, which I think would be pretty cool,
Right.
a big giant sombrero like that. But then they realized that most people who eat at Taco Bell, within a few minutes, nobody wants to stand next to them. Anyways, they're covering their face. You can figure out why. So you don't need it at Taco Bell.
Right.
But and we've talked about last week, as a matter of fact, there's a restaurant in Maryland which built tables out of giant inner tubes,
Right.
single
Yeah.
person tables. Yeah.
Yep.
And you fit yourself inside of the table and kind of bumped around like bumper cars to maintain your social distance. But I went looking, I couldn't find any other US restaurants that were doing anything as clever as that.
Right.
However, all you got to do is leave the United States and go to places like Thailand, for example. So a restaurant in Thailand is taking giant stuffed pandas, toy pandas that they got at the
Right.
Thailand carnival, and putting them at tables. So it kind of reserves a seat. So a human
Oh.
doesn't sit. Good idea, you know?
Good idea.
Yeah. So and the pandas all have the same name, Choo Choo. Get it, Choo Choo.
They're chewing, choo choo.
There you go. There you go. Actually, it should be no chew. So so the Thai people are really getting into that. In Bangkok, okay, the another big city in Thailand, they're using, instead of the giant panda, they've created giant cardboard dragons, and they're putting the giant cardboard dragons in the seat. Now,
Hey,
they ha-
scary.
yeah, well, and plus,
Right. Yeah.
plus people think, they see the dragon, they think, oh, this must be the smoking section. So they come in and they're smoking, which is not why it's there. It's there for, you know, breathing distance. So
Right.
last thing you want is smoking. Amsterdam. Okay, we go to Amsterdam. This was the coolest thing. I don't have a picture of it, but you can just imagine this restaurant in Amsterdam has set up 2-person greenhouses, little tiny greenhouses. Have
I
you seen
saw
that?
those.
I'm
Yes.
not
And
sure
I
how you
like.
get in and out, but it looked kind of romantic. There was a couple in there. The
Right.
problem is that the guy at the next table keeps banging on your window trying to get tomatoes. Hey, where's my beans?
Yeah.
But still clever, still a clever idea. Then Germany, back to Germany again. They're so ingenious. Another cafe has people wear hats with those pool noodles, those big long foam noodles.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
made, yeah, they made hats. They staple them to the middle, and they're about this wide around, and that keeps people from getting too close to each other.
Cool.
Again, there's always a problem, right? So people see the pool noodles, they start yelling, Marco Polo. So you stay up distant, even though it's not peace and quiet.
Right. Right.
So what? Yeah, clever people. We need to do more clever thinking like that in
I
our
think
country.
so.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Okay. So I know I've waited long enough. You wanted to hear about the rhinestone jockstrap. So this is that's all you got to say. Rhinestone jockstrap. End of story. So this auction house somehow obtained a rhinestone studded jockstrap that belonged to Elvis Presley. Of course, it has all the proper paperwork. I'll show you the picture, so it belonged to Elvis because there's an EP on it.
Yeah. I saw that.
So that makes it authentic, right? It says EP right here.
Yeah.
So they're selling it. This was the asking price. They haven't had the auction yet. The asking price was $36,500.
Whoa.
And
I
there's
wouldn't
no,
touch it for that much.
well, would you if there was also proof that he wore it? See, there's think about it.
The proof would have to
Maybe
have.
don't think about it.
Yeah, no.
So, well, I did, obviously, because that's what they pay me to do here at What in the World. And I'm thinking, they always used to say Elvis has left the building.
Right.
If Elvis is walking funny when he left the building, it's because he had that rhinestone
Yeah.
jockstrap on. Because those rhinestones are on the outside, but there's those little nubby things on the inside.
Oh, that
I
hurt.
know, you could just imagine what that must feel like. And I'm no big Elvis fan. I have multiple friends who are huge Elvis fans, so they filled me in on this kind of stuff. This is not the weirdest Elvis memorabilia in existence. There's all kind of weird stuff left over from Elvis that has been on sale ever since he was famous, and certainly ever since he passed away. Allegedly passed away. I know there's believers that still think that he's this white-haired old guy in Brecksville, Ohio.
Yeah.
Who is
You wish.
doesn't sound like me. I'm more the Kenny Rogers type. So so you can get, or at least you could get at one time, Elvis's television remote control from an RCA 2000 television set. This was the old style for $1,800. The guy who bought the television set from Elvis got all the proper paperwork, and he was selling just the remote control, not the
Just
television.
the remote control for
Just the
$1,800.
remote. $1,800. Okay. The king's crown. Now, this is not the one he wore on his head. It's one that was from his mouth. The king, turns out, and I didn't know this, that Elvis had a gap in his teeth. And he was the colonel, whatever that goofy guy was who was
Right,
his
yeah.
manager, probably wanted him to get it filled in. So he went to a dentist, and he got a crown. I don't know what it was, porcelain. It was a porcelain crown.
Okay. Yep.
Somehow it fell out, okay, because someone got it in their possession with the proper paperwork. $8,150 in 2012. $8,000 for a crown.
What are you gonna do with his crown? Not put it in
I
your
know,
mouth?
yes.
Oh,
It was, he got it in 1971. So this must have been after he was famous. Maybe he fell while he was making his peanut butter and bacon, sandwich,
Nana.
whatever it
Fried,
was.
it was a fried sandwich.
Fried peanut butter and bacon sandwich. And speaking of on the medical side, a set of X-rays of Elvis's arm, okay, sold for $3,500 in 2008. Now, why would there be X-rays of Elvis's arm, you may ask?
I'm asking.
Because he broke his wrist doing karate. So the one thing, I'm trying to think, when was Elvis ever athletic that he would even wear a normal jock strap? Well, he was famous for learning karate and participating in karate and competing, I think, in karate. So, but I don't think karate participants wear a jock strap.
I don't think so either.
Not macho enough or
That'd
something.
be hard, when they raise their leg and ow.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Oh, maybe that's why they make that sound. Maybe it was. Maybe they're wearing
Maybe.
rhinestone jock strap, or at least too tight. I don't know. So, but there's also evidence that he owned an exercise bike, because there was an exercise bike allegedly owned by Elvis, sold in 2008 for $12,000. Now, even if it didn't have the paperwork, it was gold. So that kind of says, well, that's probably an Elvis bike. And this is what really tells you it was an Elvis bike. It only had 69 miles on the odometer. So he obviously didn't ride it very much. Gold bike didn't ride it very much.
Right.
$12,000. So I posted this on Facebook. Which by the way, if you look me up on Facebook, you see a lot of my stories on Facebook. A lot of them also at mysteriousuniverse.org, where I'm the editor and the head writer. So I happened to post the Elvis in the picture of the jock strap. And one of my friends, who is a huge Elvis fan, says, maybe it was from the movie Kid Galahad. Okay. Now, I'm not an Elvis fan. I don't remember the movie Kid Galahad. I had to look it up. Based on a movie, a 1930s movie, which starred Edward G. Robinson, not Elvis.
Okay.
And this was a musical version. It was kind of like a musical Rocky. Elvis plays this mechanic who somehow is roped into boxing, and nobody thinks he's going to win, and he ends up defeating the champion. So he had to be trained, and this is where I need your help, Karen. He had to be trained, to make the fight scenes, even if he was singing, oh, I'm going to punch you. Or whatever. There was a soundtrack, by the way. There are 22 songs, all about boxing, I guess. So anyways, he was trained by the world light welterweight division champion, 5 years running, and his name was Mushy Callahan. Mushy Callahan. Yeah. Now, Callahan, that sounds like what nationality?
Oh, like Irish?
Irish. There you go.
Yeah.
Mushy. What nationality does that sound like?
Mushy. Very Russian.
Oh, maybe. Okay, you're getting close, Karen. Very good. So Mushy Callahan was a famous boxer. He eventually became an actor, a trainer, a referee, and that's how he ended up training Elvis for this movie.
Okay.
His actual name was, before he became a boxer, Vincent Morris Shear, okay, which tells you he was Jewish. He changed his name from the Vincent Morris to the ancient Hebrew version of
Oh,
Morris.
Moshe.
Moshe, yes.
Oh, not Moshe.
Moshe. I didn't know that. Yeah, believe it or not. So of course, his friends probably picked on him in school, which is probably why he became a boxer, and called him Mushy. So he ended up using that name as
I
his
love it.
boxing name, Mushy, and then he took Callahan from his trainer. Mushy Callahan was his name. There's no evidence that Elvis wore a jockstrap in the movie. That they could tell. And another comment on the Facebook page was that a rhinestone jockstrap would have been more appropriate for the movie Rhinestone Cowboy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, do you remember now? Everybody thinks Rhinestone Cowboy, Glenn Campbell.
Yeah, but he didn't play the
He
rhinestone.
didn't play. Who played the Rhinestone Cowboy? Na, na, na. The hint. The hint is Moishe Callahan. Mushy. Now he didn't play it,
No.
but it was someone who was famous for boxing movies.
I have no idea.
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh,
Sylvester Stallone was the Rhinestone Cowboy.
I didn't know that.
How about that with Dolly Parton? I think.
Well, I remember Dolly. Yeah, but Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers used to
Fonda?
sing the
Oh,
rhinestone.
maybe that was it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, whatever.
My interest level kind of tapered off after
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
So a rhinestone jockstrap would make a terrible jockstrap. Might make an interesting face mask these days, especially if you're a boxer, because somebody's going to laugh at you if you wear
Right.
something like that.
Wow.
So there was one more sports story last week, also about memorabilia. A pair of Michael Jordan, you remember Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
his rookie shoes, his rookie Air Jordan shoes, used, sold at an auction for, get ready for this, $560,000. One pair used shoes, which sounds like a lot, but I don't know if you remember when Air Jordans first came out. That's close to how much you had to pay for.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember they were well over $100
Right.
at that time when $100 was worth something, back in the old days. So yeah, so
Wow.
I don't understand the whole sports memorabilia marketplace. I think that it's good. It's always good to have a hobby, especially in the times like we are in now, where people are sitting at home looking for something to do. Don't torment your spouse. Go buy memorabilia or something to that effect.
Yeah, go spend money.
Spend money. That's spend money. Get that economy going. That's what it's here. Very good. So, all right. So now we get into more of my bailiwick in a mysterious universe, and that is Bigfoot.
I
So
love
I've
it.
got it. This is great. I have visual. I have pictures. Believe it or not, I normally don't have pictures of Bigfoot. Right? It's very rare that you even see a photograph of Bigfoot. I have pictures of all three of the Bigfoots we're going to be talking about today. So.
Are they clear?
Oh, of course they are.
Oh,
Most
of course,
them.
yeah.
Yes, most of them are. So, first one. This comes from California, and where Bigfoot was helping to sell a house in California. Now, I've sold a house. I don't know if you've sold a house.
Yes.
There's some, I call it voodoo. There's some lucky charm kind of things
Right.
that you do to help sell a house. So if you're Catholic, like the lovely Donna and I, you bury a statue of Saint Joseph,
Yes.
and you can buy these. Realtors sell them, okay, to supplement their meager income.
Yeah.
So the way and you have to follow this procedure. You bury Saint Joseph, a little plastic statue about that big, upside down, facing away from the house and away from the front door. Okay, so looking away from the house, you dig him as deep as you need to, and you say a prayer and ask for help to bring the right buyer to the house. Okay, once you sell the house, you dig him up You take him to your new house, you turn him right side up and have him face, put him on the inside, put him in a place of honor as gratitude for helping to sell your house. So
Wow.
the lovely Donna and I did that on our last house, and we had already moved to Cleveland by then. So we had our best friend. In fact, she's probably listening today. Text chick went to our house and dug up St. Joseph. We had to give her a treasure map to find him. And if I remember correctly, we put him in a plastic baggie. We checked to see if that was okay, because I didn't want plastic to be like kryptonite and
Right.
block
Exactly.
his lucky charm or whatever it is. So yeah, and she sent it to us, and now he's in a place of honor here, and knock on fake wooden desk. So far, he's been taking good care of us. So, so in California, that's you don't do that kind of stuff in California. You get Bigfoot. So this real estate agent is listing a home, 1,872 square foot home, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, in Felton, California, which is near San Jose, I believe. Listed for $999,000. Now, 1,800 square feet, almost
not
$1
that
million.
big.
That's a small house for
Yeah.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
You need help selling a house like that, even in California. So beautiful home. You go to the listing, beautiful porch, beautiful rooms, and they're decorated very nicely. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of one of them, there's Bigfoot. In this case, I'll show you Bigfoot sitting in the living room, reading on the couch.
Oh
And you
my
see,
God.
there he is. Yeah, I told you it was a clear picture.
Yeah. I would know him anywhere.
Yeah. So he's not like Goldilocks, so he's not messing the place up. He's exercising, he's in the garden, he is in the kitchen. There's a picture of him in the kitchen cooking.
Wow.
There's also a picture of him. It looks like he's stealing the car, but that's I don't know about that one. So this real estate agent claims that this is a good idea. He's a successful, so he says, real estate agent. He felt that it would attract people. It would catch your eye as you're looking through the listing. And it certainly caught my eye. Will Bigfoot help him sell the house? It turns out that Felton is also the home of the Bigfoot Discovery Museum. So, and the reason why it's the home is because there's been a lot of Bigfoot sightings in the area. So it's a heavily wooded area. There's plenty of Bigfoot sightings. Maybe he's using it to attract Bigfoot aficionados or hunters or whatever they are to the area to look for Bigfoot from your porch, because it looks like he doesn't come with the house. I mean, what you think for $1 million, you ought to get a Bigfoot.
I think you
Right?
should.
Yeah, if they throw in the Bigfoot, even a plastic one. I wonder if they had to bury a plastic Bigfoot in their knee. Probably not. That might
There'd be a big
Bigfoot wouldn't
big
like
hole.
that.
Yeah.
No. like, did he look real?
He does. He looks like the guy on the Geico. Progressive commercial.
Oh, he looks like the commercials. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
What's his name? He says
Isn't that an insurance commercial?
Yeah.
Or
So when they call him
Daryl?
Bigfoot, he says, "I'm not Bigfoot. I'm Daryl."
that's it. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, if they were in Florida, which is a great segue, Karen, thank you very much. See, this is why we rehearse.
Yes.
Bigfoot is called the skunk ape in Florida. He's also called, normally it's a he, swamp cabbage man, swamp ape, stink ape, and swamp squatch. So you see a theme running through there?
I did. Something about swamps.
Yeah, something about swamps, something about smell. So it turns out that the Bigfoot in Florida, because there's less forest and more swamp, lives in the swamp. Go figure. There's not a whole lot of them because something else lives in the swamp. Alligators. So
Ooh.
you, you don't want to go, and you don't want to go in the swamp to look for alligators. So the place to go in Orlando, Florida, to look for alligators and now for the swamp ape is Gatorland, which is an alligator farm amusement park in Orlando, Florida, which is already open. Disney's still closed, but Gatorland opened last weekend. And to help promote social distancing, they hired a swamp ape.
Well,
Yeah,
of course they did.
and of course they did. And here's what a swamp ape looks like.
It
How's
looks like
that?
it looks like a baby chimpanzee.
Oh no, that's the perspective.
Oh,
He looks like a giant baby chimpanzee.
oh,
How's
okay.
that? Yeah, a giant baby chimpanzee, which is the swamp ape is basically just another version of Bigfoot, possibly related, but because they live in the swamp and they smell like a wet dog or
Yeah.
worse,
Yeah.
they had to give them another name. So,
Right.
so they hired this swamp ape, and apparently this one talks, or at least holds up a sign that says maintain social distancing, which is 6 feet. Okay. I don't know if you could see it, but he also had a spray can in his hand, and that's to spray
Okay.
antibiotics.
Oh,
No,
antibacterial.
antiseptic.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Don't want to spray antibiotics.
Yep.
The antiseptic on the hands of people who must have been touching alligators or something, or each other. So one of the theories about these swamp apes is the reason why they maintain their stink is so alligators won't eat them, which kind of makes sense. Okay. And I've been in swamps. I'm not going to tell you what I was doing in the
No,
swamp.
I don't want to know.
Research.
Poor,
Let's put it
poor Donna. Poor Donna.
so I have been in swamps. They do smell terrible. I've been in swamps in Louisiana though, and no matter how bad anything smells in Louisiana, the alligators are going to eat it because the people eat it too. So it's like it doesn't that it when in Louisiana, eat everything. That's pretty.
Ooh.
I think that's the state motto.
Okay.
So so that's so if you want to see a swamp ape, you go to Florida, you go to Gatorland of all places, not Swamp Ape Land. I don't think there is one. Maybe we could open one.
No, thank you.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Yeah. 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 I think I'll stay away from that.
You're gonna stay away from.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we don't have any place to go in Cleveland yet, so maybe we could come up with an idea for Cleveland. So, anyways, let's go to Mexico.
Okay, let's
Okay.
go.
Did you know that there are Bigfoots in Mexico? I bet you didn't.
I didn't know that.
I don't think I've ever talked about Bigfoot in Mexico. So now, one of the things that I used to talk about quite a bit on this show is that you learn a foreign language on this show, and particularly you learn a lot of Spanish. So the word that you learned is
Chupacabra!
which is Spanish for goat sucker. Cabra, cabrito, that means goat, and chupa means suck. So we learn a little bit of Spanish on this show. So today we're going to learn, courtesy of Bigfoot, a little more Spanish.
Oh, good.
How about that? The Spanish word for Bigfoot, pie grande.
Pie grande.
Grande. That's P-I-E, not pie, pie grande.
Okay.
So this pie grande was seen multiple times recently in Ojo de Agua. So
Well, it's
agua,
water.
water. You got that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Ojo means eyes. So they were seen in an area of lakes called the Eyes of Water. Apparently, I guess
Wow.
because there were two of them. I think there's two of them. So they look like from overhead, they look like eyes.
Okay.
So I was reading a local paper in Mexico from San Luis, I believe, about a Mrs. Antonia. Now that's all they said about her name. She heard an explosion. She's out by the Eyes of Water, and with her husband and her child. She hears an explosion. She looks off into the distance, and she sees a landslide. And as the land is going down, she sees this creature on the hill, very tall, either a giant human or a Bigfoot that she
Wow.
described as, here's a little bit more, an hombre grande y delgado, which means a large, thin man. And then she said it was a como un gigante,
Oh,
which
he's giant.
like a giant. There you go. See, and see how easy this is.
Yes, it is.
So, yeah. So that's what she saw. She saw this como un gigante, which she didn't know, but she thought she was looking for at a Bigfoot. So they couldn't interview her because she speaks a local dialect that dates back to like the 10th century BC, way before Columbus and the Aztecs,
Oh,
ancient, that's still spoken by like 250,000 people in Mexico. So the spokesperson said that this Pie Grande has been seen multiple times in the area. And they're not sure, he's not sure at least, if it's real or if it has to do with UFOs, because he says there's been some UFO sightings in the area, or if people are just bored from the coronavirus, bored from being
Right.
locked up and they got to get out and they're hallucinating. And so anyways, the Pie Grande, okay, get ready for this, Karen. This is
I'm
the
ready.
real thing, okay? This is, nobody's dressed up in costume. This is the real Pie Grande, which means Bigfoot, by the way. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here it comes. How about that?
It looks
See
like
it?
Gumby
Look at it.
on steroids.
Yeah, he's coming to get you. Oh,
Yeah.
he's running away. The Pie Grande looks like a big stick figure, doesn't it?
Or like Gumby.
Gumby, yeah,
Yeah,
Gumby and Pokey, yeah.
yeah.
So you don't want to be Pokey when there's a Gumby like that around.
That's
Whoa!
right.
How about that? So yeah, so that's more like the typical Bigfoot photograph that we
Right.
see on a regular basis on the show, and that I see in my research. So this spokesperson feels like, I know he looked at the picture and said, geez, I don't know about that. So he tries to cover up for it. So he says that normally what you see in this area is not Pie Grande, but you see something called a nagual, which is and that doesn't translate into anything. That's just the name of a human who cut a deal with the devil to get the ability to shapeshift. And this is a common belief in this area where, and it's like the person is probably a magician or a shaman or some sort of priest. They cut a deal with the devil, or probably a local politician, because they're always doing that too, to be able to shape shift. Now, it turns out, and I had to look this guy up, but I remembered his name, Carlos Castaneda, the famous writer from the 60s.
Okay.
He wrote The Teachings of Don Juan, which I remember reading in college. Yeah, it's like it was one of the first books about New Age religion. It's kind of an inspiration for New Age religion. He mentions this creature a number of times. So, okay, so he says it, so it must be kind of real.
Of course, it must be almost true.
Yeah. So you think a shapeshifter, okay, so it's got to turn into something evil or mean, like a wolf. And in fact, that's one of the common things that they turn into. They can turn into a dog, a wolf, an owl, good one, a bat, or a turkey. Now, if you've got the power to change it to any shape you want,
Not a
why
turkey.
would you turn into a turkey? That's right. I happen to say that when I was out for my morning run a couple of days ago, I saw a bunch of turkeys in the area. But that's and of course, now not these turkeys, but the shape-shifting turkeys drink the blood of humans. So you can just imagine getting pecked. I mean,
Yeah.
a wolf or a bat is one thing, but getting pecked by a turkey and then that little tongue flicking out while they suck all your blood out doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. So they also steal property, cause disease, and create other forms of madness and mayhem. So So yeah, I looked at it and I said, you're really stretching it to say that that looks like a
Yeah.
Bigfoot. It could be a person for all we know, because it was so dark and so far away.
Or a
But
clay figure.
yeah. Who knows? There was no amusement park around, so it couldn't have been from Gatorland. There were
Right.
no houses for sale, so it couldn't have been a Bigfoot trying to sell a house. And it was skinny, and most, Bigfoot usually look well fed. That's so unless Bigfoot is eating out of the garbage these days, and restaurants aren't putting as much garbage out because of the shutdown.
Right.
Maybe it was a thin Bigfoot. I don't know. All I know is, and this was what I appreciate the most about Pie Grande, is I learned another few terms in Spanish, even though it's a gran misterio, which means a grand mystery.
Right.
You don't know what it was.
Wow.
So anyways, the Pie Grande, I will try to remember that when we talk about
Pie Grande.
Pie Grande, that's right. So now, this was a popular story last week. A very famous person from North Korea. Now, gee, who could that be?
I wonder who.
Not too many. But he disappeared. Okay.
Right.
The supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. Where is he? Turns out that according to North Korean legend, Supreme Leader number 1, his grandfather, Supreme Leader number 2, his father, and Supreme Leader number 3, the current Kim Jong-un, all had the ability to travel through space and time, to be able to fold them and disappear and reappear like instantly.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
If he has that ability, what's he doing wasting his time in North Korea? But be that as it may, that wouldn't be much of a story. So turns out that this is a commonly held belief in North Korea. But with Kim suddenly disappeared, the media has to start coming up with reasons for why he's gone. And a lot of people were saying, oh, well, he must have gone to the future or gone to the past or went to someplace else. The North Korea state media, for the first time in its recent history, said people can't disappear and reappear by folding space. Well, in other words, they contradicted 3 supreme leaders in one statement.
Wow. And you don't contradict them.
Heck no. Dennis Rodman learned that. So it turns out, I said, this can't be real. And sure enough, it is. It's based on this concept. It's called and I know I'm mispronouncing it, but it looks like Chucky Bop or Chucky Bop, which is a Korean, which is a dance, the Chucky Bop. It's a Korean term which means distance shrinking magic. So that kind of makes sense, if you're shrinking the distance between one place or another by folding space, you go from one place to another, kind of like a wormhole. We've talked about those on the show. It's actually based on Asian mythology, and all of the Asian cultures have this. The Chinese call it Kingong, and the Japanese call it Sokuchi. And I'm sure I mispronounced those, but I like Chucky Bop the best. So the Chinese one is a term that shows up in Chinese martial arts movies. When you see those in the more recent movies, not the Bruce Lee, the old one, where they're doing these flips and it looks like they're spinning like 4 or 5 times in the air.
Right.
Before, that's part of this martial art, that they obtain the ability to travel faster than the eye can see, kind of thing. Same with the Japanese, which means the shrink earth method, and it's related to Buddhism. So in Buddhism, it refers to teleportation. So that's more of the going from one place to another quickly rather than the time travel part. So, all this means I don't remember Kim Jong-un, the little chubby guy, ever moving that fast.
Right.
He was always moving slow because why? I'm supreme leader. What do I need to move fast for? So it turns out this began with his grandfather, there was a famous battle when the Koreans were fighting the Japanese, and he was this unknown leader, and he led his little ragtag group of Koreans into battle against the Japanese and actually won a battle. So everybody was so shocked. They said, how did this little, schmuck win this battle? And they said, well, it's because he has Chukibop. He can travel through time. So he tricked the Japanese. And that's where it got started. Now, that was the only example ever of him doing the Chukibop. So his son becomes supreme leader. So now, allegedly, he has the power of Chukibop. Everybody's waiting for him to disappear or to reappear or to do something. He's not doing it. Take a drink of water here. I need a Chukibop myself. So how does he? This is a typical supreme leader kind of thing. He has a song written about himself called "General Uses Chukibop," and it becomes a song that everybody in North Korea had to learn, especially the little kids. So they would sing it, and they grow up believing that the general knows Chukibop because we sang it in school, of course.
Gotta be really.
So, yeah. So of course. So that was it. So now we come to Kim Jong-un, who I've never seen him demonstrate that. However, he claims to have some secret superpowers that far beyond those of mortal men, far beyond Superman even. He claims that he can control the weather. He claimed that he could drive at the age of 3. He claimed that he was a competitive sailor by the age of 9. And this is the best one, that he can cure venereal disease. Now, why would that be a good thing for the supreme leader to do? Well, because one of the rumors that was started was that he was off on some island with his pleasure squad, which is 2,000 sex slaves. So if you have even if you have 200 or 2, it might be wise to be able to cure venereal disease.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah. Okay. So, but has anybody seen him do the Chukibop? No. Did Dennis Rodman see him do it? No.
No.
Dennis Rodman would have liked to learn it, so he'd get back into Madonna's bedroom, but he didn't know it. So basically, the theory is that the media is trying to prepare the North Koreans for what may have actually happened, which is he's sick or he's dying or he's dead already, and they're laying the groundwork. Okay, well, he didn't have that superpower that we said he did. That's really just a made up thing, and he's not. Don't worry, this isn't the end of the world. It's just bye Kim, and who knows who's going to take his place. And whoever does take his place won't have the Chukibop, which they're probably a little upset about too.
Well, his sister would take his place.
His sister would take it. That's right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if females can have the Chukibop.
I don't know. I don't want to know.
And I'm sure I'm going to be cursed for pronouncing it wrong. So, so how are we doing on time? What do we have? About 10 more minutes?
10 more minutes. Yes.
10 more minutes. Okay. I want to show you this picture. This is a story. I just saw this today. You remember the Dr. Seuss book, Green Eggs and Ham?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
Yeah.
It's a great book. It was at the time the best-selling children's book of all time. I think it's been surpassed. But yeah, and for such a simple book with just so few words, and it's such a catchy thing. So before I show you this picture, I want to ask you. You remember who was the star of the story? I do not like Green Eggs and Ham. I do not like them.
Sam I Am.
Sam I Am, that's right. Okay. Who was Sam I Am talking to? There was another character involved.
Oh, this little thing.
Oh,
It was a
little
little
thing?
character. It was a little character, wasn't it?
I
Like
don't
a
know.
bird?
Was it?
I
Do you remember
think-
the name?
No.
Guy I Am. So it was Sam I Am and talking to Guy I Am. Yeah, I didn't know that either. So it turns out that there's a farmer in India who is growing green eggs. happened completely accidentally. Yeah, believe it or not, this is what a hard-boiled green egg.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks like blue dye number 5.
I know it looks like it was doctored up. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a real egg. There was also one of just like a fried egg, but you couldn't see it as well. This really shows it up, and it swears it's not doctored. Had it actually investigated by researchers who look at those kinds of things. He swears that he didn't do anything unusual. He feeds them. This is what I thought was interesting. He feeds his chickens rice and coconut oil cake, which sounds pretty good. Coconut oil cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they're spoiled chicken. So, and he gets an organic waste from his kitchen. So my theory is maybe the chickens are upset that they're getting kale.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
they think, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll change the color of our eggs to something gross and nobody will want to eat them.
Yeah.
This guy is getting demands from people to buy his green eggs.
Well, of course, green eggs.
Of course.
Yum.
Yeah. So he says they taste exactly the same as regular eggs. Multiple chickens do it. It's not just one chicken. He has more than one chicken that's doing it. So once everything is approved, he plans to sell them. Now, I'm thinking about green eggs and ham. Everybody remembers the green eggs. How come the ham wasn't green or any other color? Was it because nothing rhymed with ham? Or I think there were a bunch of rhymes in that song for
There
ham.
were, yeah. I
So
don't know.
this was in 1960. So I'm thinking maybe the pork lobby had something to do with it. They pressured, and if you remember, pork was called the other white meat.
Right.
You don't want it to be called the other green meat. Who wants to be known as the other
And
green
they
meat?
would be spoiled.
The other way. And think about it. If you turn the ham into green, the bacon would be green too. Now, as good as bacon is, and I know you don't eat bacon or
Oh, yes, I do.
alleged. Oh, okay. So bacon tastes good. Would you eat green bacon though?
No.
No. See, I think I would eat green bacon because bacon is bacon. Bacon tastes so good that no matter what color it was, I would eat it. And I've eaten plenty of things that were green and I was hungry. So, it's like, in fact, I have kale cooking in the kitchen right now.
Oh, okay.
How about that? Yeah. So I'll be eating something green tonight. So anyways, that's what they think, is that the color comes from whatever this weird stuff is that he's feeding them. And he's going to try and make some money doing it. So, if he figures it out, everybody's going to want to figure out how to make green eggs. And it's going to be the next big thing. By Easter of next year, we're all going to be eating, except for you, we're all going to be eating green eggs. You'll be making green potato pancakes.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Latkes.
Yeah.
Because there's eggs in latkes, right? You have to mix.
Yeah.
Boy, we went well off the beaten path with that one, didn't we?
I think it's time to play a game.
There you go. That's right. No, I'm getting us ready for Bluff the co-host.
Okay.
So it's time for everybody's favorite play at home and play on Zoom game, Bluff the co-host. I never honked my horn today. So even though I had plenty of trivia. So Bluff the co-host, for those of you who haven't played before, I have three more stories to wrap us up. The difference between these and the ones we've been talking about before is that they may be true, they may be a bluff. It's up to Karen and our co-host, Rich. Is he still alive, by the way, back there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, he's there. Okay, great, Rich. So I will read the story, and it's up to Karen and Rich to decide if it's real or a bluff.
Okay, I'm ready.
Remember, no wagering. Hands on the buzzer. Looks like you're ready. You've got your hand on something. Okay, there it is. All right, great. Here we go. Story number one.
What are you doing with your hand?
They're here.
Okay, stop it, you two. We're almost done. Obviously, Karen's leg must have healed, but that's a whole nother way.
Oh!
Story number one. Let's go. Let's move on before they put us into another category of podcast. Story number one. Adults who like hanging out with former baseball players can sign up for fantasy camps where they can play in games with famous retired players. Now, people who want to have the fantasy without the retired players can rent an entire stadium in Florida. Until the coronavirus shutdown is lifted, the Pensacola Wahoos have put their stadium on Airbnb. You and 9 friends, that would be 9 players plus a designated hitter, can rent it for $1,500 per night. You're allowed to play a game against another Airbnb team, hang out in the dugout, scratch, get into fights, and anything else real players do, except spit, of course, unless you're wearing a mask. Okay, so the Pensacola Wahoos, well, it must be related to the Indians somehow, have their stadium up on Airbnb that you can rent and actually play around. Real or
I
bluff?
hate to tell you that this was already on the news today.
Oh, it was. Really?
And
Wow, I thought that was a
it's
brand new news.
true.
Okay.
True.
So what? So real or bluff?
It's real.
Oh, it's real. What does Rich say? Maybe I can get him.
No, I saw it on the news too.
Oh, he saw it on the news. Rats.
And I was thinking that if you take the 2 teams, 9 each,
Yeah,
that's 18 players,
18, right?
and then you need at least 2 umpires, so that's 20.
Oh,
You
that's
divide
right.
that into $1,500, it's reasonable.
That is reasonable. If
Yeah.
it's $1,500 per night for the facility. If it's $1,500 per person, then
Oh,
it's
yeah,
good.
that's a little bit ridiculous.
But yeah, that sounded like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend who goes to those fantasy camps, and he was and still is a very good baseball player, even at his advanced age, almost as old as me. It's tough playing against those retired players, even when they're in their 60s. They're still good. So, okay, very good. Well, so both of you have one on the on
Yes,
the
we
plus
have.
column.
Okay.
All right, let's see if I can get you with this one. Two. A Russian artist who once held the Guinness World Record for creating the world's smallest book may get another record with his latest creation, tiny coronavirus mask for insects. So far, he's managed to put tiny mask on a grasshopper, a wasp, and a dragonfly. He claims the masks are made of actual medical cloth and are very comfortable, although he's not really sure about that because the insects are dead. No, the mask didn't kill them, and neither did the coronavirus. He only works on dead bugs. He's going to go smaller and will attempt to mask a mosquito, which he hopes will get him a product endorsement from the people who make off. So, a Russian artist who works in tiny things is making teeny tiny masks to put on dead insects. Real or bluff?
Why would you even want to put them on a dead insect?
So you can get into the Guinness World Record book.
Oh,
Like people throw ping pong balls into beer and but
yeah.
making little masks sounds pretty tough to me.
Well, I think it's totally ridiculous, worthless. So I'm going to say no.
Oh,
Fake.
Rich. Oh,
Rich,
bluff.
what do you say? It's a bluff.
You know what the lovely Donna always says, and that is, that's so weird it has to be true.
Yeah, I know, but I hate to say it's a bluff.
So Rich is busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
I'm gonna say it's true just because it's so weird.
Oh, okay. So we have a one bluff and one true. Well, Karen, sorry. There's a real artist in Russia making teeny tiny. These are the kind of people who write the Bible on a grain of rice. That's the kind of person he is.
God.
Yeah, isn't it? His tiny book was like 0.9 centimeters square. It was just a tiny little thing. So
Okay.
yeah. Okay is right. That's what I said.
I'm wrong,
All right. So
but I can win now.
That's right. The points are double. All right. So let's see. Here we go. Story number 3. In an attempt to reopen while still keeping their customers safe, a sub shop in California is offering a social distancing sub sandwich. 6 feet of long, hard roll, lettuce, and lunch meat that is guaranteed to keep customers 6 feet apart. The social distancing subs come in Italian or double meat and can be toasted if you're willing to wait 20 minutes until it slowly gets fed through the oven. Anyone who can eat one social distancing sub in less than 30 minutes while washing their hands every 5 minutes will get the sub for free. To avoid costly insurance claims, the social distancing sub is not available at the drive-through window. So we were talking about restaurants before
Right.
with social distancing. Sub sandwich place in California, 6 foot long subs, not 6 inch, 6 foot.
But
Carrying that keeps people 6 foot away from you. What do you think? Real or bluff?
well, I think it's a really good gimmick if it's real. So I'm going to say real.
Karen says it's real. It does sound like a good gimmick.
Yeah.
Rich says, I gotta Google this real fast. Where did he say? California?
Yeah.
I'm typing slow today.
No, you're not typing at all.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I better look
I'm
at it
gonna say
again.
it's a bluff.
He says,
Those so we have. Well, so we have. So you say it's real.
yep, I say it's
It
real.
says
He
it's a
says
bluff. Rich is right again. It's a bluff.
He won today. I lost.
Wow, he was perfect. A perfect.
You know, I
3
know
for
why.
3.
I know why I lost today.
Oh, why?
So for all of our listeners out there, today has just been an unusual day in putting this show together. You know that. I mean, I came to rehearsal.
Yeah.
John,
But
John
everything went.
didn't.
John,
That's
our,
why
our
John's
good friend
not here.
John was trying to get in. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was banging on the Zoom door, the Zoom window. We could see him. We couldn't hear him.
Couldn't hear him again.
Couldn't
so,
hear the poor guy.
but
So don't worry, John. We'll get you in here one of these days
we will.
into
And then
the
we'll do a
Zoom
little
world
bit
of what in the world. Yeah.
some
So
sports
well,
when he comes back.
yeah, I think it's appropriate that once in a while a show titled "What in the World" has what in the world problems sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, here we are talking about Bigfoot and submarines and all that other stuff. So, but where else can you find stories like that at What in the World?
You just can't, and we're so glad that you all join us.
Definitely.
Some of these shows are also audio available.
Yes.
And just so you know, Paul, not all,
GoogleRadio.net, right?
right, and not all of them will be, because if the file is too big, we can't get it over to audio.
Oh,
So,
really?
Some
Oh.
are just going to be on YouTube. Some will be on both formats, and we'll let you know.
Well, this
Okay?
is all the more reason to tune in every week or
Absolutely.
tune in every day. You're sitting at home doing nothing else, watching, binge watching Star Trek. How many times can you watch Star Trek? I guess a lot.
I can't watch it even more. So, not even a question. But we want to wish everybody a great day, a continue to
Yes.
stay safe.
We hope it's warm where you're at.
Right. And if you're going out in
Warm
public,
here.
wear your mask and
Wear the mask, right?
all the right things.
Definitely. Okay,
get a
great. And then
Or get
hopefully
a
we'll see
6
you next
foot
week.
sub. Yep. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.